Hi friends, welcome to Eyes of My Heart. I want to talk about growing old. I did a video about my birthday and how I turned another age, and as I was reflecting on that, I thought again about a friend of mine. Her name is Donna, and she is the one person who taught me the most about how to embrace aging with joy, with adventure, and with acceptance. And I knew Donna. Donna passed away about 2 years ago, and she was 99 years old. I met her when she was, I think, 96 or 97. And I met her when I took my little Sheltie Gracie, who was a therapy dog, into an assisted living facility in Goodrich, Michigan. Donna was the last person that we visited on the first day that we were there. And when I walked into her room, and I had been visiting others, there was a light and an energy in that room that I can't explain. And here was Donna, this petite little elderly lady, sitting in a chair because she could not walk, with a smile on her face, welcoming me in and welcoming my little Gracie girl in. And from that moment on, my life was changed. Prior to that time, I was in my late 50s, and I was struggling with this idea of getting older and older and older. And we are bombarded with images on social media and in advertising and on TV and celebrities that say, oh my gosh, you've got to look like this, you've got to hang on to your youth, you need to have that procedure done and spend all this money to get these things done and cosmetics, and I was getting sucked into that. But it didn't feel right to me. And I am just talking about myself. I'm not telling anybody else how they need to navigate through aging, but this was for myself. And so here we are with Donna, and she radiated aliveness. She, again, was in this facility where she rarely got out, but she would awaken every morning and she would do her hair. She would put on some makeup, not a lot, but enough, and then she would pick out an outfit to wear that matched and was simple but classic, and she would wear jewelry, and everything pulled together. And you saw this radiant 97-year-old woman who had physical problems, but she was sharp as a tack, opening her heart, her soul, her room, and saying, come on in. Let's spend some time together. And Donna had been an artist, a very, very talented artist. And she had her artwork around her room. And she had taught at the Flint Institute of Arts and had displays and shows around the community. And she was an artist through and through. And she still had a passion for that. She would show me books. I just got this new book on this new sketching technique. And she would show me what it was, and she was fascinated with light. And she said, from the very beginning, when I see nature, when I am out in the world, whether it's a busy New York City street or it's out in the country or just meeting people, she goes, I see everything through this like lens of light, how the light reflects on it. Things that probably most of us don't even think about. And she goes, and that's what would well up within me. And I think, how do I capture that? How can I translate that in this painting? And many of her paintings were of like flowers and trees and landscapes. And I don't know how she did it, but she did capture it. She was still passionate about her life at 97 years old. She would talk about her life experiences, and it was never in this way of, oh, I'm so old, oh, if I could only be young again. And it wasn't in complaining. Like I said, she had some physical issues, but never once would she complain about that. Never. She was just in the moment. You were like the most important thing that had walked through that door. That's how she made me feel. And when I was there, I was surprised other people would just come by and visit, people that she had known from her past, because there was something about Donna that drew them to her. Because when you left, you felt lifted. There was an energy that transpired between you that was not diminished by age. She was not clinging to youth. She had not had any cosmetic things done on her face. She looked old. But she was beautiful. She didn't look fake. She didn't look plastic. She looked alive. She looked like she loved herself. And in that loving, other people felt that they could love themselves. And I went home that first day and said to Mark, oh my gosh, Mark, I've met this woman. And I told him about her and how she made me feel. And I said, I want to be like that when I'm 96. And he just looked at me in his wisdom and said, Vicki, I don't think you should wait till you're 96. Why wait? Be like that now. And something inside me clicked. His words clicked. He said it with love. And being in the presence of Donna, those things came together and something changed in me. And this idea of welcoming life at every stage without fear of getting older or looking older, without fear of letting go of the past, because that had been an issue for me. But Donna changed that. It took one person, not by anything she said. She never once said to me, don't be afraid of growing old, or stop trying to cling to your youth. She didn't talk about age at all. She was just in the moment. This is who she was, and it was vibrant. And you talk about people having energy and auras and vibrations of energy. Hers was 100% genuine, 100% aliveness, and 100% love and kindness. And I can remember before I would leave, she would always say, Vicki, what can I pray for you? How can I pray for you? And if I had any concerns or anything for my family, I would get up from my chair because she couldn't get up, and I would go and kneel beside her chair, and she would take my hands in hers. And in such a soft and gentle, authentic way, she would lift me up in prayer to God, to divine love, to the heart of God. And I'm telling you, I could feel the light going into me. I could feel it soaking into me. And I would be sitting there or kneeling there saying, Lord, let me implant this moment in my soul for eternity so that it becomes what I live out of. Because it was saturating me. I could feel like this wave. It was light, it was love, it was mystery, but it was true. So that's my experience of having this change happen in me about aging. Because before, I wanted to stay young. I didn't want to look old. I didn't want to feel old. I didn't want a number attached to me. And it was so much so that I can remember prior to that, this idea that we cling to our youth. When I was younger, I was an athlete. I was very active and could do things. I did gymnastics for a while until I kind of hit a growth spurt and got too tall, but I would still do it. I'd walk into a room, and if I felt like doing a cartwheel or a walk over or round off, whatever, I could do it. It was just like second nature. I loved being active. And I can remember one time years later watching the Olympics on TV, and I was home alone. And I got inspired by watching the gymnastics. And in my head, I'm like, I can do that. I can still do that. So I thought, I'm going to do a back walkover. Piece of cake. Hadn't done one in years, but you think you can. So here I am, and I am all energized and ready to do it, and I do it. And I fell directly on my head, hard. So much so that I honestly, for a second or two, thought, did I just break my neck? And I laid there, and I'm like, that wasn't a smart thing to do. Fortunately, I didn't break my neck, but I really think that I still have some neck issues, perhaps from that. But it was that realization of why did I feel that I had to recapture something that had a season, that had a time. Being able to do that isn't going to change my age. I'm still aging. I just turned 63 this year. Actually, just a couple weeks ago, I turned 63. And thank goodness, when I met Dona, which was 5 years ago, 6 years ago maybe, she began to bring about this idea of letting go of the old, not trying to recapture the old, but to be present to the future, to be present to the moment, not worrying, fretting about the future, no fear. Right here, right now, this moment, be fully who you are, the age that you are, with the realization that your spirit is eternal. Your soul never dies. What needs to come out of your life? That light, that love, that kindness, that healing energy for others can happen at any age. In any situation. Like I said, not only was she 97 when I first met her, but she was frail. Her health wasn't the best. But there was still more life in her, more authenticity and passion in that moment of being with her than I have seen in people much younger. So anyway, that was just one of the lessons of this idea of embracing every stage of life with freedom, with welcoming it, not resisting it. What we resist usually comes out of fear, whether it's a fear of growing old, looking old, letting go of past identities. Be who you truly are in this moment. You know, the realization of that happened the day I met her. But then I had to begin to nurture that within myself by not letting myself get sucked back in to all the images that our culture tells us are the epitome of happiness and youthfulness. Letting those go and digging deep to let that light shine forth. So I want to say thank you to Dona. Again, she died at 99, but even then, people still were drawn to her. People, like I said, wanted to come into that room because she impacted lives by just being, fully present, and letting love lead the way. I have just so much respect and gratitude and love in my heart for her. And you know, she only had one child, her daughter, who she talked about and loved dearly. And you know, that brought great joy to her. And I'm just sharing this because her life wasn't perfect. She had two spouses that she loved. The first husband died very unexpectedly and tragically, and she found him dead. And her second husband died a slower death from cancer, so she had to care for him. And she did all of that. She got through those difficulties of life. And she talked very honestly about the pain of that and the suffering that she experienced from that. And then she would always come back with, oh, but God. You know, she would talk about how her faith grew, how she learned to accept the grief and the sorrows, as well as the joy. And the other thing I learned from her was, at whatever age we are, find something in life that gives you purpose and passion, and that is a healing balm for your soul. Hers was art and loving people, just as she was. And just as they were too. I mean, that was another beauty of her ability to just embrace and include everybody in her circle of love. So I wanted to share that today because it's been on my mind, because people have asked me, how do you feel having another birthday, getting older? And I'm like, well, thank goodness, now I feel great about it because there's no looking back. There's no trying to be who I was back then. I want everything to be open so that who I need to be in this moment comes forth. And I pray that wherever you're at in your life, whether you're 99, 80, 70, 60, 50, get in touch with the eternal part of your soul. Let that lead the way in life, and let it be saturated in the love and the light that is God within you. His grace, the grace of God is sufficient for every situation. I saw that lived out in Donna, and I'm finding it being lived out in my own life. God bless you guys. Take care.